Oh gosh, look at that water bill. Oh, well, there goes my stimulus check. You gotta laugh or you're gonna cry. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This video is going out to Johnny Moore. He just reminded me via comment on a YouTube video that I haven't done a video in a long time. So we're walking downstairs to my fish room. I just put this up. Awesome, really appreciate it. Bo up in the UP, he made this for me, which I think is just awesome. It's heavy, metal. So yeah, let's go over the fish tanks and what's new. Let's start over here today. So things have been a little chaotic due to the coronavirus, and yeah, I'll show you exactly what I got going on in the fish room. The mud guppy tank's doing real good. Really no change. The hornwort's growing. I've been adding some fertilizer, trying to get more hornwort for summer tubbing this year. So I got another video coming out. It's going to be me refurbishing a hot tub and plugging up all the holes and making it into a 600-gallon outdoor tubbing pond. So look forward to that in the future. I've been recording different sections of me doing the work, and just need to put it all together now. And I need some nice summer days so I can actually get out there and get it finished up. So that's the 100-gallon. Actually, I think it's 120-gallon. There's 100-gallon down here with the white labs, and I'm acting weird, so they're not going to come out and say hi. And the geophagus are doing good. These are the Brazilian eye. No breeding yet, but yeah, maybe the 40 gallons a little too small for them to be breeding. Maybe I don't have the right ratio of males to females, but super healthy. They all eat real good. Down here I have the pineapple swords. They gave birth a few days ago, and apparently they're just so good at eating their fry. I seen one fry in here, and I went to go scoop it out, and one of these swordtails, that's the male right there, chased down the fry. The fry evaded me, and the swordtail ended up getting him. So I got 0 fry out of that batch, so I don't know how many were put into the tank or laid in the tank. Unfortunately, I did not get any, even though I really love this swordtail. So I got a couple babies that are growing up pretty good of these that I did manage to wrangle out of this tank. But yeah, I just got to figure out a better way to breed these. It's not working just colony breeding them like this. They're just too good at eating their fry. So over here, these have been growing out. These are some OBs, Dragon Bloods, and Blue Dragon Bloods. They're getting about 1.5 to 2 inches here now. So we'll see what they turn into. This is the tank of everybody who jumps out of the 180-gallon. They're just growing out. Really no change here. Yeah, just trying to keep the tanks clean, and the fish are getting pretty big. There's definitely a male flameback in here. It's looking pretty nice. Yeah, right up here. So he's starting to get his colors. He's probably the dominant fish in the tank here. And hope these guys just took off on me. These are the blue-tailed Guppies. So excited I might be putting these guys outside into a tub. Doing real good, trying to give them some brine shrimp. They're in a 10-gallon here, and this is kind of the hodgepodge station with all my fish shipping bags, and I kind of hang all my python accessories to do water changes on this. That's kind of nice because it's mobile. I can move these tanks around if I need to. And yeah, I just needed a couple more 10 gallons. These are the black bar endlers. I've been feeding these guys baby brine shrimp really heavily, trying to just get enough that I can start listing them on eBay. I guess I'll announce it now. I've been working on a website. I don't know when it's going to be finished. I want it to be nice and complete for you guys and easy to put in your PayPal information or credit card information and make purchases. And honestly, I'm not that in that big of a rush because I just shipped out a box of blue dolphins on Tuesday, and they still haven't arrived, and today is Friday night, so that's 3 days with USPS. So I think this quarantine thing has got the shipping disrupted, and it's just been a little bit frustrating, but I got some more blue dolphins to ship out on Monday. I've been getting a few new babies. These are Venustas fry I just put in here today, and I already seen them eating at some baby brine shrimp. They still have their egg sacs, but they were ready to be moved. You can see them, they're scooting around, and yep. And then behind them are some wild-caught swordtails. Let me see the name on those. I don't have it in front of me, but they're one of the Mexican location swordtails. So these guys might be finding a home outside in a summer tub come May or June. And down here, this is kind of cool. So these are the Brichardi type. These are the Cygnus, and doing really good. These were the ones that I was able to save from the tank about a month and a half ago, and they're all super healthy now. I lost a couple when I moved them over trying to get them eating baby brine shrimp, but a really neat fish. And there's another batch of babies upstairs, so I moved the Julita Chromis out of that tank where the two parents are, because I really want the parents to raise up a batch of fry without worrying about the Julies snacking on them. And you can see behind you, this is the thing that's been taking up the majority of my time. These would be my Coil Angelfish. So I've already had to cull. I mean, it's raising Coil Angelfish. I'm no expert in it, of course. This is my first successful batch. But I have heard you have to aggressively cull these fish, and I can attest to that. There's just so many genetic defects where the fish can't even swim and find food, and it's just kind of sad. Like, this guy starting to not be able to keep himself upright. And I can tell you, I don't believe it's anything I've done in this tank. They eat tons of baby brine shrimp that they get from my 4 2-liter bottles that I always keep going with baby brine shrimp. So I'm going to feed them here right now. So let's do that. I already got the air turned off on this one. So I've been labeling the bottles up here with a dry erase marker. Seems to work really good to keep track of when I mix these brine shrimp up. This is kind of weird. I'm not sure why it's got the bubbles. This is not normal. We'll see. It looks like the brine shrimp's good though. So yeah, what I do on this, if I'm just getting one meal for them, I don't really have my cup down here. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand, because I'll just take a container, whatever, and a turkey baster, and I like to squeeze the top of the turkey baster, push all the air out, and then as I'm pushing it down in, push a little bit more of the air, and that keeps the eggs from centering around the tube. So you don't pull the eggs down with you when you put the turkey baster all the way down towards the bottom. And then once you got down towards the bottom and you got the light down there, you just let go. Sucks up a good feeding of baby brine shrimp. And I'll transfer that. One-handed is not ideal, but over here. See if I can get a close-up on this. So there are some eggs. I mean, especially, I didn't do the best job here. But it's mostly baby brine shrimp. So you'll see when I feed this out. I wish I had the other container I usually use. But I'll usually do that if I'm just doing one feeding of brine shrimp. And of course I don't have my normal squeezer down here. So I'll just use the turkey baster again. Grabbing them out. We'll feed these guys. And they will have that consumed very quickly. There you go. You can see them all moving around. The fish absolutely love them. And there's algae in this tank, but I do a 20% water change about. So let me go over what I've been doing with these angelfish a little bit. I'm going to do a separate video on it. But I got two 10-gallon tanks set up here. This tank, they both have heaters in them, 78-degree water temperature. And I will get water from the tap, put it into 5-gallon buckets over here. I got 3 buckets. And then I have air stones running in 2 of those buckets. And it's just to get all the chlorine out, get the water nice and settled, get anything bad out of the water. Then I'll take these buckets and I'll transfer them to this 10-gallon tank. And this is probably overkill. I was just doing it for my own peace of mind, and put it into this tank. Then when I'll siphon out the bottom, make sure I get all their little poops, they could use a siphoning right now, off the bottom of this tank. And then I'll just take this Kool-Aid or this pitcher and transfer the water that I displaced out of this tank from this tank into that tank, and then I'll fill it back up. So then I know they're getting good fresh water and it's the right temperature. And yeah, so I got all these babies and the ones down here as well. So that's been taking up a lot of my time, learning how to raise angelfish, and I'm going to switch things up a little next time. You know, you can always improve your process and make things a little easier on yourself with trial and error. So let's feed the other ones here. And these guys are already taking flake food. I've been feeding flake food and some really tiny fry pellets. I started feeding them a little bit of flake food once in a while about a week ago. Probably could have started them a little bit sooner. Like this guy, he just doesn't have his balance. So yeah, there should be a good amount of pretty cool ones, and some of them are like the gold angelfish color, like this guy right in the middle here. So I'm kind of excited about that. I think it's some time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard gold angelfish would be bred with koi angelfish to strengthen the line, or any other kind of angelfish variety just to strengthen the line. So I'm thinking that's why I'm getting these gold angelfish, because 2 koi angelfish bred, so somewhere along the lines they must have introduced some of these golds to strengthen the line. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that guy's not doing too well. But you take the good ones, and I think you just got to kind of be a little ruthless if you're going to be an angelfish breeder. You have to be accepting that they're not all going to be healthy and make it. And in the wild, those ones would have already been snacked on. So it is what it is. Like this guy's got bent bottom fins there. They're still not all perfect, but in the next couple days my goal is going to be, so let me show you what happened here. This is what set me back a little bit. This 120-gallon tank down here, this tank is 2 foot wide by 4 foot long by, oh I don't know, it's about 2 inches taller than 75 gallons. So came downstairs, and I will put a picture of what happened up in the top right corner. So yeah, you can see had an awful mess down here, and this tank blew. It actually had a crack along the back where the silicone had separated. So that's telling me that the back wall and the bottom pane of glass has a issue in the seal. So that's not really good, because you can't really fix that seal. But I drained everything, cleaned up the carpet. My wife helped me a ton. So I used up one of my I flooded the basement points. But this is what I did. So I'm hopeful that it's going to work. I went around and did an extra tight seal, used up an entire thing of silicone, and did a big seal all the way around the entire edge on the bottom. And then I cut these 2 pieces of glass. I siliconed one completely to the bottom and up against the back, making sure there was a good wall of silicone there. And then I took the other piece of glass, siliconed it on top and also on the back, so there's a strong amount of surface there for the silicone. And this seemed to be the weak point where the seal wasn't good. So I just made a mark here with a Sharpie. And another tip, you can take a dry erase marker, and anywhere you have glass, you can just put a dry erase marker over that permanent marker, and it'll wipe right off. So I got to do that. I just brought it down here today. It's already been drying outside in the cold for a few days, and yeah, I'm going to set it back up. So that was a big big issue. I'm hopeful this tank will remain good for me for a long time because a 120-gallon tank really helps out with growing fry and everything else. So the goal is to take the blue dolphins in this 110-gallon right there, and I'm going to move those over to this tank, which isn't as tall but is wider. And then this nice big 110-gallon tall tank, all these angelfish are going to grow out in it. And then I can do another batch of angelfish in these two 10-gallon tanks. So yeah, a lot of talk there. Nothing too much over here. The brine shrimp hatcheries are doing good. So what's kind of nice about this, if I wouldn't knock this over, is I already got my feeding of brine shrimp, so I can also just unplug it here. And actually what I would do is just turn this off. I would open this up because this is already open to the air, and put my brine shrimp net under here, siphon all the eggs out. I would do that if I wasn't recording a video because it's time to finish that one up. And then I can just close this valve up here, unplug it here, go rinse it out at the sink, refill it, plug this back in, and I'm ready for another batch of brine shrimp. So it doesn't take that long. I really like the system. If you want to see it more in depth, let me know. But yeah, I can just turn it back on here. Hey, good night, guys. And yeah, blue dolphins doing good here. These are the Amica splendens. Still doing real good. They don't really eat much except the brine shrimp that I give them. They're kind of finicky. I think they'll do good in a pond outside too. So I got a couple more of the Cygnus that I saved in this breeder box. Not a whole lot to see there. I could go around and feed a lot of baby brine shrimp. But somebody on Facebook was wondering about these multicolored Victorias. So I got a really nice group of them here. I think there's 7 or 8. And I believe there's 2 males. Let's see if I can zoom in on them. So you can see the colors already starting to show on that male in the back right. These fish are interesting. They really lock up and play possum when you walk by. They think you can't see them or something. But yeah, I would be willing to sell these because I recently got a couple more spawns out of the multicolored Victorias. So if you're interested, let me know. So I think this is a male right there too. You can start seeing the blue around the lips. And if this camera would focus. But yeah, I think this is the dominant male right there. So a really neat little Egyptian mouth brooder. Really like them. And these are actually the Christmas Fulus. So starting to get big. The big male in here is starting to show some pretty cool colors. Probably won't be able to get that on film. And these are Fire Uganda fry in here. So starting to do pretty good. Everything's doing really good. These would be the little pineapple swords that I managed to save. So they're already showing some color. They're about 1.5 inches right now. So I'll probably put them in with the parents here soon, but I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do. These would be the Apache. When I say Apache, it's a Alona-Cara hybrid. And excuse me. Tropheus Chipimbis are doing good. No breeding action, nothing new to report there. I have some super red bristle nose on eggs right now. Excuse me. And this tank, all the bristle nose are starting to put on some size. So I've been trying to feed them really heavy and do a lot of water changes, as you can tell from the water change bill upstairs. Nobody ever said this was a cheap endeavor. But yeah, they're starting to put on some pretty good size. Like that guy right there, he's probably close to 2 inches now. This one's probably 2.5 albino. This is a big one. I did not raise this one. I got him, he was already pretty big. It's a calico. And we had some jumpers, dragon blood and random geophagus. Looks like a blue dolphin maybe. Jumped into the tank, but there's a lot of fish in here. I gave them a lot of extra driftwood. Yellow dragon blood's up here. Excuse me. I just today put some multicolor Victoriae, little teeny tiny babies in here. Let's see if we can't get them on camera. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to come in here and make sure they're all still moving around enough. Got some snail eggs. Excuse me, my throat's just kind of tired for the end of the day. These would be Apaches also, and all this mulm. You know, it's from the snails and it's from heavy feeding in this tank, and then the breeder boxes just suck it all up and into the tank. So I have to clean these out, you know, with a turkey baster once every couple days. Some of them are clean, some of them aren't. It's just what it is. It doesn't seem to harm them at all. Some Venustas fry growing out. I could use a couple snails in here. These are the yellow blaze fry. Just moved these guys. These would be, I had to move these because I needed a place for the Tropheus when that tank collapsed. So these are the Lupis, and they're doing really good with my Chromis, blue neons in here. So I had to move some of them into these 40-gallon breeders. These, I'm hoping they'll pair off and actually get a breeding group of the Lupis in here. I also put Lupis down in this bottom tank to see if they preferred a certain temperature, because the bottom tank's a little bit colder. So yeah, they seem to be doing pretty good. Hopefully they'll pick a cave and have some spawning action for us. These are the Protomellus Spilontaneous Tanzanias. No breeding action lately. Protomellus Taiwan Reefs. Again, nothing much has been going on here. I've been treating this tank with erythromycin. I think it's the last medication I'm going to try for this tank. But I don't know, maybe they're starting to get a little bit better. They just aren't, I don't know if they just pick on each other too much. These are the zebra obliquidans. But I rearranged the tank, gave them some new rock work, pulled out some of the plastic decorations just in case that was causing them any issues, even though they're supposed to be aquarium safe. These are the Geophagus redhead Tapaho growouts, doing good. The blue dolphin breeders, nothing real new here. There was one female holding the other day, but not anymore. Yeah, you're an old guy. He's got a little bit of a mark on his forehead. I don't know if he was fighting with the ladies or what. But yeah, he's probably my biggest, oldest fish in here. And nothing much new up here. The same predator fish. These are the Venustas who have been giving me babies. There's 3 females in here. They're about 4.5 inches, I would say. And that's the female Chromis strigatus. And here's the male Venustas. And here's the male Chromis. And the dragon blood. So yeah, there's more babies down here. These are some more Apaches. This guy's got to get moved. It's a ruby red fry, and the Interruptus. So these guys definitely need to get moved. Got some really nice male Kyogre flamebacks in here. Already showing some good color. And I just put some snails in here to kind of clean up the sides on this tank. You're not going to be able to see it very good, but there's probably about 10 multicolored Victoriaes. And I also have these multicolored Victoriaes, which they're a slow grower, and they're a small fish too. So these are probably 3.5, 4 months old from when they hatched. A lot of snails in the tank. Blue dolphins in here. These are Geophagus that need to find a new home pretty soon. Starting to get a little too big for the box. But they do really good. They're still growing, eating amazing. Just one random little fire Uganda in here. And some Eastern Happy Lake Victorians in here. So I went through and cleaned all my 10-gallon tanks. Been getting a lot of breeding action from all the guppy tanks here. These are snakeskin endlers. I just sold a batch of these. I just recently relisted these on eBay for 8 fish, $40, so $5 a fish. And the majority of them are actually down here, so I figure I have enough here that I can start shipping some of them. It looks like a lot, but probably not that many in there. But they're really nice if they would ever settle down in front of the camera. I really like the tiger endlers. Tiger endlers, snakeskin endlers, same fish. And my yellow tuxedo guppies are doing really good. Some of them have like a neon pattern to them, like this guy. Some of them are just white and yellow tails. But super healthy strain. I'm enjoying them. And this girl up here, I've been waiting for her to drop her fry forever. These are the purple IFGA guppies that were sold to me. This is one of the males. So unfortunately I bought 2 pairs of them, and the other pair passed away, but before she did, she passed away while she was giving birth to these little guys. So I do have some more of these purple guppies. I can't wait to, I'm about ready to move these upstairs to a green water tank, and with shrimp in it, and yeah, just grow out some of these really cool guppy varieties and see what they turn into. So I think there's about 15, maybe 20 in there, something like that. These are the Eastern Happies, one of the breeding groups I have. I don't know if there's any holding in there right now, but I've already stripped a few of the females in there. Probably a small tank for something like that. These are the ruby green. They're not even fry anymore. They're pretty good sized fish and doing super good. These are the snakeskin orchid endlers, so very similar to the black bar endlers, but producing some fry in here. There's a matin filter in the back, and there's also a matin filter in this tank. So during the quarantine I had to bring home some of the blue dolphins from my work, and I put them in with some yellow dragon bloods. And this interesting guy, who looks like a ruby red to me, not a yellow dragon blood, but I don't know how he got in there. But anyways, it's all hybrids and blue dolphin, so I'm not gonna, you know, doesn't really matter that much. Or maybe that's just what the yellow dragon bloods are starting to look like. I don't know. But yeah, the males are already showing some pretty good color. And I have some shrimp in here. These are the blue with the white in the middle of them. Excuse me, I need to get a drink. My throat's dry. Santa Maria endlers. These are in here with just some red cherry shrimp. A lot of red cherry shrimp in here that you probably can't see very good. A few of them crawling around on the rocks and stuff back there. But the endlers aren't bothering them in the least. And I only started with a handful of endlers here, so they're slowly building up their numbers. You can see some fry in here. Slowly filling up the tank with endlers here. And these would be the blue, red-blue metallic guppies. Yeah, I got two tanks of those. These ones and the other ones. Some of them are really nice. Some of them need to be culled. I need to make some tank space to do that. And these are tanks really dirty, so they're not going to come out very good, but just some red mutt guppies. So yeah, a lot of guppies. These guys are doing awesome down here. Really hoping they'll breed for me again soon. They're starting to get pretty old though. These are the Tropheus de Boisei Maswas. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a female in here holding, but it's really hard to tell with these fish. They kind of always look like they're holding, and they'll still eat while they're holding eggs. But I rearranged this tank, took out some of the wood, put in some more rocks from the UP. Another shout out to Bo for the awesome rocks. So hopefully they will enjoy this tank a little bit more, but they eat amazingly well, super healthy. Let me look at them. They're just an awesome Tropheus fish. I really love these guys. If I was only going to keep one Tropheus species, I think it would be these ones, but do not buy wild caught. Buy from a reputable breeder. There's plenty of people breeding these. Aaron White, look him up. He's got Tropheus de Boisei Maswas for sale, and they are my favorite fish, personality-wise, and just not scared of you. Just a really personable Tropheus. And you can tell they don't pick on each other nearly as bad as some of the other Tropheus morai species that I have. I didn't even go over what's in the male Hap and Peacock tank. They're mostly hybrids, but a lot of really nice color down here. Starting to get really good sized. I mean, some of these fish are 5 inches now, and they really need to find some homes, and it really stinks being quarantined here. Oh, that guy got his eye popped. He wasn't like that a few days ago. Interesting. That's a bummer. That's a ruby green, but yeah, that happens. I say that happens, but not very often. That's a bummer. Not much I can do for him. He's in a nice clean tank that gets automatic water changes. And I'm sure he would still eat. So let me turn the lights on the final fish room here. Wow, 30-minute video already. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. Hopefully you enjoy these types of videos. I think it's about time I got one out, so yeah. So this tank's getting a little bit full. These are the yellow blaze lithobates, starting to get pretty good size to them. 1.5 to 2 inches. Eating machines, clean the tank pretty regularly. They get automatic water changes, as does this entire row here. Yeah. So these are the awesome Coil Angels, and I think they're going to breed for me again here. These were the ones that gave me the babies last time. So it looks like her, I forget what you call it, is showing a little bit. Yep. So I'm hopeful they're going to lay on that slate again, and yep, there's his too. So he is the male. Just confirmed it. So yeah, I should probably feed these guys and leave them alone, and hopefully this slate will be full of eggs in the morning when I come down here. So those are my Coil Angel pair. These are blue dolphins. Doing real good. These are my Threadfin rainbow fish. The males are starting to really look stunning here. There's a couple of them that just really have really nice long flowing fins. The colors aren't really coming through very good on the camera here. These are Praecox Rainbows. These guys were getting all fired up, so I put a spawning mop in here this morning, and they were checking it out, so I don't think it's going to be too long before, I mean, maybe they're a little bit too young still, but the males were dark and fired up. They look totally different. That's one thing with rainbow fish, is in the morning they will have much better color than in the afternoon. And I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, it's apparent. So yeah, they're doing great. Starting to get some size to them, and hopefully get some Praecox rainbow fish eggs in that mop, and then I can try my hand at raising some rainbow fish. These are Fire Uganda fry I've raised up. Some of the males are starting to get that Fire Uganda coloring, like guy right here. So it's another Victorian cichlid. This stays a little bit smaller, and yeah, they've been fun. They're a little bit skittish, as are a lot of the Victorians, I guess. I mean, they're only skittish if other fish are being skittish. So it's one thing I've learned with Victorians is, you know, if they're acting super skittish, move them around, get some other fish in there that aren't skittish, get them some dither fish that they're not going to kill. Zebra obliquidans and white-tipped ACI or white-finned ACI, whatever you want to call them, in this tank. Unfortunately, I lost my first effort at trying Caridina shrimp in this tank. I even had the right low pH substrate, but I bought them and I didn't have the tank set up for a long time. So now I'm just letting this tank go, and hopefully grow a lot of microbacteria and microfauna. And next time I try the Caridina shrimp, King Kong shrimp or something like that, hopefully they'll survive. Yeah, this tank has been doing that good. It's got Bloody Mary shrimp in it. I'm not 100% sure the reason. A lot of plants, a lot of moss in this tank. But I might end up throwing some fish in here. Maybe they would enjoy munching on the fish poop. I mean, there's probably still 30 Bloody Mary shrimp in here, but it's not my favorite tank. It's just a little 5-gallon. So these are 5-gallon tanks on the edge here. And down here are black rose shrimp I haven't really messed with this tank much. I've cleaned it up a couple times. Try not to change too much water, and there's a lot of black rose shrimp in here, even though it doesn't look like it. But I need to do something with this tank. Right now it's just housing probably a full colony of black rose shrimp. So there's always something I would like to do. These are grow out Geophagus redhead tapajos, and I don't have a breeding pair of these, so that's why I'm kind of growing out so many. I need to make sure I get myself a real nice breeding pair, and it takes quite a while to grow them up for the males to get that red on their head, and the females need to be about twice this size is what I was breeding them at before. So unfortunately mine came in with Calamine worms. I didn't realize it, and when they started dying and I figured out it was Calamine worms, it was already too late. So these are blue-red metallic guppies. I really haven't been culling these since quarantine, but you can see how fat some of the females are, and there's quite a few fry in this tank. Both of these tanks, lots of guppies, and probably need to go through, cull out a bunch of this. If anybody's looking for some nice healthy guppy feeders, I can probably make a package of that if you have some predator fish that could really use them. It's better than letting them go to waste, in my opinion, and just culling them, because nobody needs 5 tanks of these guppies when they're not all what I'm looking for. I can't even find one to show you that I'm actually trying to go for. Like, that's not right. This guy's pretty close here, but you've seen them before. I just got to put some more effort into them, but they don't look bad. I mean, they're nice guppies. And these are the Boesmani Rainbows Lake Antinjo collection point. They look really good in the morning. The males are starting to get the black and blue around their head in the morning, and it fades away and they lose it as the day progresses. These would be the deep water haps, also doing really nice. It looks like I got quite a few males in here. I'm not 100% sure, but it's looking like a lot of males. No breeding on the deep water haps yet. And these guys would be hiding, of course. A couple of them are holding in the back. These are the group of Hippo Point salmon that I raised up. Doing real good. There's probably 3 males in there all colored up. Sometimes they're skittish, sometimes they're not. These are the Julita Chromis that I moved from upstairs. I was talking about so the Brichardes could breed and raise a batch of fry on their own. Really skittish. There's more of these fish under the rocks, and they always push this poor guy up against the corner, so I see him all the time. And some Venustas, about 2.5 to 3 inches, super healthy. I always like the Venustas, so I'm happy to have some more fry of them to grow up. These guys are probably 8 months now. I mean, they grow slower for me than the fish farms can grow them, but I don't pump up the temperature to 80 degrees and feed them super heavy and shorten their life. And I don't know, there's pluses and minuses to the way I do things. And yeah, blue dolphins and Chromis Apache hybrids. I don't see the good male in here to really show you. There he is. Yeah, he's pretty cool. So we'll see what he turns out to be. This tank's probably going to need an upgrade here pretty soon. These are all 29-gallon tanks on the bottom. And these are Peacocks, and there's Dragon Bloods, I'm sorry, and blue Dragon Bloods in here that I bred. Especially this one right here is super cool. I really want to get some more babies out of this guy. So there were a couple holding in here, and I don't know what happened to the babies. They must have spit them. But I want to get some more blue Dragon Bloods if this guy would ever turn. Come on, dude. But he's really blue with orange on his finnage and the stripe on top of his head. Really a unique, cool hybrid in my opinion. One fish that would not be mistaken for anything else in the hobby, and just a really unique, pretty fish. So that's something I'm going to work on in the future. And then blue Dragon Bloods like this guy down here. Lighting's pretty poor right here. More blue dolphins in this 29-gallon. And then sold a couple fish out of here. These would have been the yellow dragon blood hybrids, and the males turned out to be really nice. There's one more male left in here. They look kind of like a lemon jake sunshine banga cross, sorta, with a little bit more black around the eyes, but definitely not a pure strain fish, and I would never sell it like that. And put some more decorations down here for the Trets, and that right there, which I don't know if you can even see them, or if he just dove into the back, that is one of the Cygnus that is still surviving in this tank. The Trets are pretty ornery. They're not going to show themselves. I'm just trying to give them a lot of cover and kind of figure out what I'm doing with those Trets. But yeah, Lake Tanganyikan fish in here. That's why I have the crushed coral, kind of boost the pH up a little bit more. And in here I'm just raising out some Chilotilapia Uchillis. And so 7 Chilotilapia Uchillis and 7 VC10. Starting to get some size on them, about 1.5 inches, really nothing to see. Just takes a while to get some of those bigger haps to start looking good. And yeah, my breeding tanks, so Fire Uganda is still doing good. There's a female in here holding a big batch of eggs. That's probably her right there. I don't really need any more Fire Uganda fry right now. But yeah, they just can't help themselves, I guess. So he hasn't been showing that much color lately, interestingly enough. But yeah, the tank's doing good. These guys always get skittish when I have a camera, but these are my Kribensis. And when they all come out and they're showing really nice colors, they're really nice Kribensis. They don't get enough attention, in my opinion. There's probably about 20, 25 juveniles in there. Heck, they're already pretty close to adult size. So I hardly even want to show this tank because this poor guy's getting beat up. And yeah, these are the Travassiers. The big male's going to be hiding in here. The female was holding a whole batch of eggs. I was excited. And they weren't fertile, so I was kind of bummed about that. And these are my yellow Compressiceps, or yellow Calvis, I'm sorry. And they've been not as skittish as usual, but now that I have the camera and I'm down here talking, they're going to be a little more skittish. But yeah, they're doing good. There's a couple in the back. Slow grower. This guy's probably 2.5 inches now. So I put a whole bunch more Calvis caves and bells and just different places for them to breed in here. Like that right there is a sideways Calvis cave. So I don't think they're quite of size to breed yet, but maybe soon, maybe in another 6 months or so. And these angelfish are doing super good. These came from Bo in the UP also. Did a little trade for them, and I think it's 2 males. You can kind of see the hump on the head on both of these. They are super good eaters, super healthy. I mean, look at this one. He sees my finger there. I just tapped on the top. But yeah, they want the food. So angelfish are a personable fish. If you're looking for something, you have a nice community set up. Angelfish are pretty cool, actually. Kind of like a discus, very personable. They definitely recognize who you are. Down here are the breeding group of Christmas Fulus. These are a big fish. Been trying to feed them enough. Oh, you jerk. Got him. But yeah, I got 2 batches. I'm super disappointed. One was heads and tails, meaning the eggs already had heads and tails, and so I knew they were fertilized. And they both didn't work out for me in the tumbler, so I don't really have any more of these right now. So that was a big bummer. I did a lot of effort to try to get these guys to breed and then strip the babies, and it didn't work out this time. Can't win them all. And I just realized yesterday I do have some more eggs from the super red bristlenose in here. Not gonna be able to see it unless I turn on the flash. There we go. Look at that. So I don't know if we can zoom in here, but he is on eggs right now. I really don't want to disturb him too much, but it's kind of cool. I have the flash on here. Well, come on, focus. The glass is dirty in this area. It's not really dirty, it's just got long-standing calcium deposits. That stuff's kind of hard to get off. I don't know. These are all used tanks that I picked up. So yeah, all my bristlenose are doing pretty good. They haven't been breeding crazily for me, but I'm happy to finally have a batch of eggs in there. And it might even be a longfin who laid the eggs in there. I'm hopeful, because she was hanging out by that cave right before there were eggs in there. So these guys were in the tank that busted in the other room for me, and I had to move them. These are the Tropheus Alangis. So that was very stressful. I had to get all these guys in buckets. I had to do a full clean on this tank, rearrange it, get the loop eye out of here, because I wanted a 75 gallon for this big group of Tropheus Alangi. These guys are starting to get pretty good size. I've raised them ever since they were about a ½ inch, and now they're 3.5 inches. So they took to the tank really well. They eat really good. Now that I'm moving around and being weird, they're skittish, but really nice Tropheus fish. I'm hopeful that this will be my next future breeding group, and I really didn't want to lose them when the tank busted. And these are the blue dolphins down here that are probably the biggest ones that I've been having for sale. And then this guy, Kissing Garami, he was being a jerk upstairs, so I had to bring him down here so he gets to live with all these blue dolphins now. So I don't think he's super happy about it, but they don't pick on him. It was a little touch and go at first. They wanted to see if he was food, but they figured out he's not food, so he doesn't pick on them, they don't pick on him, and they all get food. So yeah, a lot of blue dolphins in here. These are mostly females. I've had a lot of requests lately for males, so it's kind of hard for me to pick out too many males out of the group now. You can tell by their anal fin, like that's a female. I wish I could point to them, but let's see here. There's my finger, and that's going to screw everything up. But the rounded anal fin is a sign of a female, and a pointed anal fin is a sign of a male. And they got to be about 2.5, 3 inches. Like that's a female. You can see how rounded it is. That's about the only way you can tell at this size. But a lot of females in here. I just shipped out 4 more males. So getting pretty low on males there. These are, all 4 of these tanks are just breeding tanks. Check this out. This is kind of cool. Actually, I've never seen it from this angle, but this is all Java fern that I've been growing. I've been watering it every day, kind of spraying it, and yeah, it took off like crazy, but it's all immersed, so it'll probably die back a little bit when I put it in water. And this is Anubias back here. This didn't do quite as well, but some Anubias there, and it's flowering, which is pretty cool, huh? So yeah, just playing around with the plants a little bit. My wife basically did that, and I just hit it with a spray bottle of water every night before I go to bed. These are all 4 29-gallon tanks of Lake Victorian growouts. The Hippo Point salmon. There's one holding in here, but yeah, they're just doing their thing, being Lake Victorians. These are the Kyogre Flamebacks, which I'm not 100% sure they're pure strain Kyogre Flamebacks because it's hard to find any information online. So if anybody can tell me, that'd be appreciated. I don't want to be selling something under a false name. If it's not a true Kyogre Flameback, if it's actually a hybrid, that's not what I want to represent in the hobby, and I don't want to mislead anybody, as I was probably misled. And if that's the truth, but maybe they are. Maybe they are full strain Kyogre Flamebacks. I have no idea. But it's hard to tell just from Google pictures, right? You have to have a real expert who understands the fish. So I should probably reach out to somebody like Ed Konings, or who knows, I don't know. I'm not in good with all the cichlid people. Yeah, these are the Eastern Happies. For some reason, these guys are always very blue and yellow-tipped fins, when their babies actually have a lot more of the Eastern Happy yellow colors. So I'm not sure if it's the blue strain or not yet. But, yeah, it looks like she's breathing heavy. It's kind of odd. Why are they all breathing heavy? I guess they're not. They're just... Maybe they are. Anyways, this video's getting long. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I enjoy fish room tour videos like this, so I don't mind when they're a little bit longer, especially during quarantine. Doing real good. These are the cutteries as well as the black acaras. So I put the black acaras in here, and there's one right there. And they're growing really fast. They kind of a neat tank. You know, all South American type fish. And no breeding action. I'm not really pushing it or anything. Just happy, healthy. I have no problems with that. You know, South American fish aren't really my cup of tea anyways. This is the only tank of them that I have. And I just want to see what these black acaras turn out to be when they get the same size as these cutteries. So they'll get 4 or 5 inches. I think they get a little bit bigger than the cutteries here. So yeah, beautiful fish. I mean, I've enjoyed them. Down here, my ruby reds and the Omniceruleus. Forget the full name of them. But those would be the calico type. I think they're a Victorian. They might be a Malawi fish. But there's a female there. I got a couple nice ruby red males starting to show their colors. Like there's one right there. These are actually Alonacara Chipoka, Stuart Grande Chipoka, the collection point. They're not the German red strain, line bred, ruby red. But I actually like these Omniceruleus better. So it's taken me a long time to grow them up to this size. Maybe they'll breed for me here soon. And I kind of just want to see how big I can get them. They're already almost 3 inches. I mean, all the fish in here look pretty small because there's so many and it's such a big tank. But the tank takes a lot of cleaning. And I got a bristle nose in the back. I was going to put that other calico bristle nose in here and see if I can get some breeding action going on. Because some people really like the calicos. Which I do. I kind of like the calicos, so. I don't know, maybe that's it. Oop, whoa, sorry everybody. So yeah, that's the fish room tour for now. I got some other videos I wanna do, show you guys. So yeah, I guess I didn't go over this tank. This is the male VC10 Gentle Giant. There's 2 peacock hybrids holding in this tank, and then this fish got returned to me. He was all colored up. He was pure blue. You could tell he was the tank boss wherever he came from. So I put him in here, and he colored way down when he seen the VC10. They kind of had it out a little bit. No serious fighting, but the VC10 said, "I'm not going to take your crap," and he colored down. But I threw a bunch of females in here with him, and yeah, a couple of them are holding eggs in here. She's got a mouthful over here, and there's another one holding in here too. And what I thought was a female actually turned out to be a male here. So yeah, he's definitely the subdominant one in the tank. But yeah, that'll wrap it up, guys. Guys and gals, appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the fish room tour. And stay tuned for more videos on the angelfish fry growing up. And my outdoor hot tub ponds. I'm going to get the couple 150 gallons out, so I'm going to stop talking right now before I bore everybody to death. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And stay safe out there. Avoid the public as much as you can, and we'll all get through this together. So here's the white Julita Chromis. They're in there with Pundamilla macrocephala females, another Lake Victorian. That's probably as close as I'm going to get to them. So I'm going to sign off for now and stop talking to myself. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoy these fish room tour videos, and I'll keep giving you updates. So talk to everybody later. Bye.